Olivero by Abigail Ray. Chapter 2. The years passed by, and by 1830, Olivero had grown into a lavish young man, a 21-year-old with a keen sense of himself. His dark brown curls beamed like an oil painting around his face. The mahogany eyes resonated with purity and innocence. Contributing to his handsome looks were the fine fragments of Jewish traits within his family line. He dressed himself with care, but his father helped with the unique details of attire to capture the essence of a musician. Whether it be the tie of the cravat or choice of waistcoat, Anton wanted his boy to look the part in society. Olivero's music matured with each new composition. He now had concerts of his own, hired by wealthy patrons to play at their salons. He was the highlight of any party, not only with his vast guitar talents, but also the kindness that matched his beauty. He was something rare, a true diamond of a man. Naturally, every woman adored him, while men admired his company and even temperament. Olivero enjoyed friends all around, but most loved him in regards to status and talent. Only a handful were close. Olivero was wise in knowing who cared about him beyond the outside looks. In the moment, the guitar strings sang throughout the house of a duchess. Olivero's fingers danced a unique composition involving the tremolo technique, incorporating it into a waltz. He smoothly played while a servant offered drinks to the spectators. The ladies wore fine dresses with feathers in their hair, each taking part in a cocktail or two. After an hour-long performance, Olivero put his guitar away and helped himself to the fine liqueurs. Before he had a chance to take a sip, he was surrounded by members of society, giving their heartfelt praises. Olivero modestly thanked everyone. One young lady came, fluttering her fan frantically. She was a typical sight of a wealthy girl, with her black hair forcefully pinned up, and crystal jewelry dangling as she wore a rose-hued dress that highlighted her full, heaving bosom. What a wonderful performance! She gave hard breaths to accentuate her passion and breasts. Olivero casually took a sip of schnapps, then in politeness answered, "Grazie." He went to move aside, as he didn't care for her demeanor. The girl continued, "I shall escort you to dinner." "Oh," Olivero veered in tone. "Do you know who I am?" The lady caught a hint of his reluctance. "I am Anna Anita, the Duchess's daughter. I request that you sit beside me at dinner. I'd like to get to know you better." "Let me think about it." Olivero took an underlining offense as Anna clasped her arm in his. He hadn't the chance to convey more feelings on the matter, as other guests were still trying to converse with him. He became quite overcrowded. "Scusa, scusa," a familiar voice cut through the bodies. Olivero's eyes brightened as a quick and witty man appeared. "Olivero, let's head to the dining hall. I want to sit with you." "Grazie, Maurizio." Olivero followed him. Anna kept hold of his arm, informing Maurizio, "I am sorry to say, but he is sitting with me. I'm the Duchess's daughter." "Oh." Maurizio paused, then whispered to Olivero, "Mi dispazi, I can't get you out of this one." "It's fine," Olivero sighed, as Maurizio slid away. Everyone paired together in a line leading towards the dining hall. With no choice, Olivero escorted Anna. The long table contained a buffet of meat, fruit, vegetables, and scrumptious desserts. Anna and Olivero took seating towards the far end, near the Duchess herself. Being Anna's mother, it wasn't a surprise to get such a close seat. The Duchess was a lone widow, with her husband's passing being only 2 years prior. Anna's 4 brothers, particularly the eldest, tended to the estate's affairs. To keep their mother's spirit up as well as their own, they organized salons to gather company for happiness and comfort. For the first taste of food, Olivero took up a light salad. Each leaf of lettuce was crisp and fresh. Anna smiled. "All of the produce comes from our garden." Lovely, Olivero nipped at the shredded carrots. Anna chose tomato soup for her appetizer. She often glanced towards her mother with a keen expression. The Duchess began to question Olivero. "Do you have a garden at home?" "Si, but it's more flowers than food. My madre tends to it. Padre is too busy, but we also have servants," Olivero explained. Anna voiced, "I bet the flowers are lovely. Are there roses? Red roses are my favorite." "Si, they are my madre's favorite as well." "You must bring me roses." Anna turned to her mother. "He can bring them when you invite him to play again." "Of course." The Duchess sipped her wine, eyeing handsome Olivero. Olivero caught the familiar stare of a hopeful parent and the wishes of a young lady. His charms and talents were an irresistible book cover, but Olivero was wise in knowing that he needed a mate who would love him beyond such things. Anna was not it. Dinner continued, and Olivero chose a main dish of lamb chops. He kept conversation with Anna and her mother. Maurizio sat many chairs down, making it impossible to talk to him. The dessert of fresh tiramisu made the rest of the evening bearable. Outside, upon leaving the manor, Maurizio joined Olivero in a taxi carriage. "How was that Anna girl?" Maurizio bellowed a joke. "Wants to marry me, like 100 others." Olivero gave a sigh out the window. "When will you choose?" "I don't know. When a true lady comes around, which appears impossible." Maurizio patted him on the shoulder. "She will come when the time is right." A moment later the carriage halted and Maurizio departed. The rest of the trek home was a lonely 10 minutes. Olivero felt relief when the Amor Manor came into view. He couldn't wait to get into his evening robes and rest. Before doing so, he wanted to say good night to his parents. Entering into the drawing room, Olivero found the usual scene of Julia knitting by the fire. She looked up, hearing footsteps. "How was the salon?" "Molto bene. The food offered was divine, but has made me tired. I must tell Padre good night." He gave Julia a loving kiss. In the room beyond, Anton sat in his office, composing the finishing touches of a new opera. This one was titled The Water Nymph. It was to premiere next month. Anton sensed his son's entrance and asked concerning the opera. "Would you like to go to the opening? I can save a ticket." "Of course," Olivero answered, glancing at the stack of flyers for the production. The design was eye-catching, with an up-and-coming soprano taking the lead role. Olivero noticed she was beautiful. Most leading ladies were. He didn't take note of much more, as he had seen hundreds of great singers from his years of growing up in the world of opera. "How about your music? Are you working on anything new?" Anton then pressured his son. Olivero replied, "A set of variations on an old lute melody, Dove son qui fiery occhi." "Excellent. A good composer should always be practicing his skill. Be sure to work on it before bed." "Si, padre." Olivero nodded, then headed to his room to compose. At times, Olivero would say he was composing a nocturne or etude just to make Anton happy. His father tended to be strict concerning music. The 6 variations were not a lie. He truly was working on that. The variations had a unique form. Instead of making 6 variations of the piece all the way through, he broke it into 3 sections, each having 2 variations. The simplicity made the project easygoing without stress. Olivero had enough musical stress since he began publishing his guitar works, earning money of his own. As soon as becoming a published composer, Anton ensured Olivero lived up to the standards of the profession. At times, Olivero felt torn. Of course he was a musician and composer at heart. He wouldn't know what he'd do without. But at the same time, most of his success was due to his father. Olivero didn't have to experience the world of a struggling poor composer. He had the Amor name, and would inherit the wealth. Even with this in anticipation, he still dreamed of running away to make a life of his own, and not by the success of his father.